Hi guys, happy Wednesday. It is currently your favorite day of the week because the Hot Seat with Priscilla is live in studio here at Social Media Shows. Every single week we bring you the best of the best and introducing you to amazing people of this city and beyond that are willing to sit in the hot seat and not get burned, but tell us the journey in which they have lived and why they do what they do. We never discriminate on what they do. I love meeting people outside of the entertainment community because we also meet entrepreneurs, business owners, politicians, alongside all of your favorites, which are the people in the entertainment, performers, dancers, actors, producers, singers, artists, and so forth. Every week I try to bring you something new and refreshing just to introduce what talent we have here in the Las Vegas Valley. Las Vegas is up and coming. There is so much going on when it comes to film and events. Everything is going on to make this city the city that it needs to be and put us on the map for more than just what everyone assumes it could be, which is partying. But even though we're not going to stray away, I'm not going to give too many hints yet about the guests that are going to be on here, but we have some amazing guests, high quality, great stories, traveled the world, people that are pure artists, and I cannot wait to introduce you to them. So make sure, as always, grab your drinks, grab your snacks, and stay tuned because after the break, I'm going to introduce you to our first guest, and you will want to stay to make sure you hear all about him and what he is doing here. So we'll be right back after the break.
Have you ever dreamed of sharing your views and knowledge with the world? It should be easy, right? Just turn on your phone, talk into the camera, upload to your social media, then sit back and wait to go viral. Unfortunately, it's not that easy. Not only that you need a great message, you also need a video production as well as a quality sound and lighting. If that's not enough, you still need to make sure that video's description, title, and thumbnails are optimized by SEO and search algorithms. What a hassle! Don't worry, Social Media Shows is here to help. With our years of production online experience and professional studio, we can remove all the technical roadblocks out of your way so that you can focus on the message you want to share with the whole world. We have production plans that fit any budget. Visit Social Media Shows today at socialmediashows.com and schedule your free.
Welcome back. I hope you have your drinks and your snacks ready because we are in for a great show. Our first guest is award-winning composer. He's done so many things. His music transcends so much. I'm pretty sure if he will start telling you what his vibe is, you're going to recognize any of it. And he also is a producer of his own podcast where he talks about movies, etc. Definitely someone who's used to the spotlight and not going to be too scared of all the cameras and the viewers like you that are watching. So everyone, please, please, please welcome David Rosen. Welcome. Thank you so much for coming. Please take a seat. I love that you have your own personalized shirt going on.
Yeah,
I just recognized this.
My latest
album.
Yeah.
There you go. You don't even have to ask. We don't have to ask where to find you because it's on the shirt, guys.
That's
Just
right.
pause it, screenshot, zoom in. There it is. So let's know about you. Where are you from originally? Let's start there.
Well, I was born in New York, but I did grow up in Pennsylvania.
Okay,
I've been
East
here.
Coaster.
Yeah, I've been here in Las Vegas since 1998.
Okay.
And I mean, at that point, like I'm a Vegas guy at this point.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah, but I love knowing people's roots because that tells me a lot about them regardless if they've been here for a while. Obviously, they're a little seasoned, and that kind of goes along with music.
Sure.
A lot of people in New York, right? New York is notorious for music, theater, right? All of the above. So tell me the start. What really did it for you when it came to composing in general?
Well, I went through like a lot of different phases because I got into music to make industrial music, like electronica and like alternative industrial electronic stuff like that. And I couldn't do it at first. Like it just wasn't in my wheelhouse. It wasn't something I was actually able to create. And I kind of went through these different phases along the way. I started producing rappers here in Las Vegas. I did a comedy project for a while that I also produced the music for, and eventually started working my way into doing music for films, because along the way I started realizing that, like, as somebody who wants to kind of just hole up in my little home studio and make music, like not be a guy in a band, you know, I just wanted to make music. Like, film really is kind of the place for me, whether it's film or TV or commercials, doing jingles, things like that. So I started working my way into film, and that's when my music started evolving and getting to my latest album, more content, making the music that I kind of set out to make in the first place.
Yeah, and that's amazing, because you hear a lot of people who produce their own music, but they also perform it.
Yeah.
You know, you don't meet a lot of people who are purely for producing and composing alongside, and then also dabbling in a lot of different areas, because everyone has their niche.
Yes.
They stick to it, then they get stuck, they go somewhere, they get inspired. Right? So what really inspires you when you found your niche, which you like, I'm assuming is film? What really, does it come out of nowhere? Do you sometimes jot it down when you're out and about?
Yeah.
What is it?
It depends on the project, really. My main thing is kind of taking all of my influences and making a big jumble of it all. Like, I like to get influences, like I said, industrial music, also alternative music. My favorite band is The Cure. They're a big influence on me. A lot of that kind of like, new wave and stuff from the 80s and things like that. Straight up into rock music and film scores, of course. And so, like, really all different kinds of areas of music, and then putting it together and making something that hopefully sounds original, that sounds unique, that people connect with. But my number one priority always when I'm making music is that I like it. And so that's like always number one. Like, I make this music to listen to. I love listening to it. And it sounds weird saying out loud sometimes, but I genuinely do. Like, when I'm driving around, I'm half the time at least listening to my own music.
Yeah, and that's the best thing, is you want to be happy with it. And for an artist, it's hard because we're never satisfied sometimes.
Yeah.
So if you're satisfied, at least you have that where you don't need validation from the outside world. Whether, even if it's a job and they're saying, okay, well, I would have done it this way, you're like, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Because, hey, I can press play and I'm going to chill, right?
Yes.
I'm in my zone, I'm happy.
Yeah.
Right?
And I'm not putting it out unless I'm happy. Like, I have so much unreleased music that, like, I might eventually finish it. It might make its way out into the world. But if not, just go in the trash, because I don't need to release music, you know? If it's good, I'm going to put it out.
Is there a genre of film that you feel pulled towards more?
I like weird stuff, like dark weird stuff. Any kind of movie that's very open to interpretation is my kind of movie, you know? But as far as like the broad genres, I mean, dramas for the most part, but like I like definitely a little bit of all genres.
Yeah, because when I listen to music, it kind of has more of a dark feel.
Yeah.
It leaves kind of a mystery to
Yes.
it. And I kind of get, I always say this, when you hear, we watch a lot of period or sci-fi fantasy, it's like this battle music, right? It's like this, like, giant, like, you're waiting, it's leading you up to this big moment, and it's really dramatic. And I feel like that can work for you, like, very Avatar, very Lord of the Rings.
Sure.
It's giving a lot of that, which is great, because music for films is very important.
Oh, yeah.
People don't realize, like, there's a lot of films, like Independence, where they don't put music in there, and then you're kind of like, something's missing.
Right.
It adds to the story.
Yeah, and it's important to know when the film needs music, because sometimes no music is the right choice. It just depends on the film. But I do tend to take on a lot more like horror and mystery and thriller kind of gigs. It's just kind of where I've gravitated towards. But I like working in all different kinds of styles and all that. But definitely the darker stuff is kind of my home base.
Are there certain composers or music producers that really kind of have an influence on you?
Yeah, as far as like actual film music composers, I love Clint Mansell is one of my favorites. Thomas Newman is amazing. Of course, everyone loves Hans Zimmer, but I mean, I wouldn't say that I don't love Hans Zimmer too, you know.
Yeah.
All of these people, but I like people who don't sound anything like me too. Alexander Desplat is one of my favorites, and his stuff is cheery and bright, and I couldn't do that if I tried. So, you know.
Yeah. Would you ever do a musical?
I would certainly try.
Yeah.
I would give it a shot, and you know, especially if it was a darker musical, like a
Yeah.
Sweeney Todd or something. You
Or
know?
even Phantom of the Opera, right?
Sure,
You're
yeah.
giving it has a little bit of rock in there
Yeah.
at the end of the day.
That would help. Yeah.
Yes. So moving from music, now tell me when you started producing podcasts, because your podcast in particular also goes alongside with film, so it
Yes.
stays in the same niche.
Yeah, absolutely. I've been doing Piecing It Together, which is my podcast that I produce and host for 5 years now. And Piecing It Together is a podcast where we take a look at a movie through the lens of what other movies might have inspired it. So talking about inspirations, each episode my guests and we talk about the movie and come up with a list of what we call puzzle pieces, which are other movies we think were an influence in some way on the featured film. And it's just a fun, different way of talking about a movie rather than just saying good, bad, whatever. You know, we get to make these different tangents and connections and whatnot. And so it's just a fun, different way to talk about a movie. And I've been doing it for 5 years now. Before that, I was also co-hosting another podcast called Bird Road. That was more of like a politics thing. And I also produced a restaurant podcast. I also produce currently another movie podcast called Awesome Movie Year, which is another take on the movie podcast format. But we've been doing that one for almost 4 years now.
Wow, so you are equipped in all areas, you know? I love that, though. You have a lot to say, and that's great for a podcast,
Easy.
right? And and I'm pretty sure, like, seeing all the different areas you're in, you're not afraid to voice your opinion.
Sure.
In those things. Like, you're a peer artist, and that's great. So when you do a lot of films, do you also kind of critique the film in its entirety, apart from just the relation to other things, references, and things like that?
Yeah, I mean, you have to, and like I prefer to talk about movies that I like, but you know, it can't always be that way, you know. So yeah, if a movie isn't good, you gotta say it. You can't just tiptoe around it, and you know, it happens. You know, I recently criticized a movie that I found out later on that a friend of mine worked on. And I was like,
no.
but
well,
you know,
sorry, man.
it
No, not
happens,
personal.
you
Not
know?
personal.
Yeah,
So do you primarily do a lot of independents, or?
Yeah,
Okay,
absolutely.
okay.
A lot of independent films. I personally I've worked on all different kinds of things and had music on television and all kinds of stuff. And then on the podcast, just anything goes.
Yeah, as it should. That's what
Yeah.
podcasts really are made for. Anything goes. You don't want to listen. It's a warning, disclaimer,
Yeah.
right?
We can't just cover Marvel movies.
Yeah,
you know?
I know. And then plus, like, you're in a field, everyone's covering a Marvel movie. Everyone has a reaction video out on YouTube, you know?
Absolutely.
So when it comes to your past work, is there a time when it really was just like a light bulb went off? Like a certain job that will forever be close to your heart, really? That was a moment.
It's such a difficult question because of the different things that I
Right.
do, you know. I'm still really, really proud of the fact that on my third album, Head Like Fire, we put out a music video called Constellations that was actually like a 360 virtual reality music video. And that one got picked up by Google as like a thing to promote like their Google Cardboard and like their entire initiative for VR and all that. And so that got seen by like so many more people than like anything else, you know. And so it's just cool that something was out there getting that many eyeballs on it and in it because it was VR, you know. And it was just a really cool project, and I was really happy how it came out and that it got that much attention.
Yeah, that's amazing. Now, did you go to school for music at all? Or are you trained?
No.
You self-taught?
Yeah, self-taught. I went to
Yeah.
UNLV, but it wasn't
Right.
for music. It was just to hang out and be at school, so.
The college life, y'all gotta have it. It's necessary for growth at that age, right?
Exactly.
That's absolutely fantastic that you are self-taught and you got so far, because that's not something that is easy to know how to produce. A lot of people who are very seasoned, you hear them get into ruts where it takes them so long, but then that song ends up being a hit.
Sure.
So, you know, have you ever had a time when you had to go somewhere and just like cut everything off because you're like, I want to get this album done. I want to get this album done.
Every week. I feel like, I'm right now, and I'm in the middle right now. As we're talking right now, tomorrow starts the pre-order for an album that I'm putting out, a novelty comedy album. And then next week, I've got a special Patreon exclusive album coming out. And I'm doing 3 live podcasts in a row at Maya Cinemas here in Las Vegas.
Wow.
The first one is on the film The Blackening on June 15th, so I'm excited about that. But like so many projects all at once, and juggling them all is kind of a constant, like, I gotta get this done.
But it's better to be too busy than not busy at all,
Yeah.
especially in the field that we're in, right?
Yeah.
So this album currently, the one that is the one up for pre-orders, pre-order. What's the inspiration behind this?
Well, first of all, the design on the shirt here is part of the album cover, although I'm also standing in front of it and the light is shining on me. But these are all films I actually worked on. And
some
so
look like film, like stills.
yeah. These are all actually like there's actually an animated version of this where they're all moving at the same time, and like these are all films or short films or commercials, TV, whatever.
Okay.
And yeah, it's kind of a self-deprecating joke of a title, more content, because we're in this age right now of just nonstop onslaught of content. So I'm like, I'm adding to that with my new album and my new music video and my T-shirt and all this crap. But it's just, this album is, I think, my heaviest album. Like, the songs really hit really hard, and it was a really fun one to put together. A lot of the tracks were started kind of during the whole quarantine era of the pandemic and all that. And I'm putting out more music next year already. This one just came out on New Year's Day, but I'm going to be putting out a soundtrack later this year, and then more music, some of which was started at the same time as this album. So it's like, it's just a constant stream of like making things, and that's kind of what the album title came from.
That's actually amazing though, for as a music producer. Right?
Yeah, if it's coming, I'm not gonna stop it.
Right,
you know?
yeah, as you should, because there's gonna be one day where you're like, dang, I shouldn't have said anything.
Yeah.
And now I'm like, I have 2 days off, and that feels like an eternity, because you're like, yo, what is my life coming to?
Yeah.
Like, is this it? Is it the end?
Yeah.
Right?
If that ever happens, at least I'll get to watch more movies though. So
so you can just review the movies.
Yeah.
You can spend more time.
Yeah. There's always something I can do.
But the music in you, I feel like, will just continue to flow out. So even if you just do it for yourself, but that's pretty amazing. Is there a certain film on here that you're gonna say is a standout? If you were to have a single, which you might, which would be the
there's a lot on here. I don't
lead
even know.
single?
I'm not even sure, to be honest with you. There's just too many. I mean, this one right here, Dreams Like These, was a music video I made myself using just lots and lots of clips and all kinds of. This is actually for my second album, An Unseen Sky, and that's another one that I'm super proud of, just because I just gathered all this found footage and just kind of put it together and spliced it with effects, and like video editing is not my thing. That's why my podcast is audio only, but it really came together, and I'm just really proud of that one.
Yeah, that's awesome. So a lot of these movies, are they independent? A lot of these big features, are they here in the West Coast? Are they all over the world, maybe? Or?
All over the world.
Great.
Yeah, some of these projects were screened in theaters or at festivals, and now they're available on Amazon or Prime or Netflix or Tubi or any of those kind of services.
Yeah.
And so a lot of stuff that's out there. I'm actually the thing that I'm releasing next week is a soundtrack for a horror film called Jacqueline that just came out on Tubi this week. So that is going to be like an exclusive on my Patreon. And I mean, it's just a lot of stuff to put out,
Yeah, I'm sure you have your own fan base. I'm sure you have a Patreon. So.
They're out there. You know?
Yeah.
And if they're out there, subscribe to the show.
Yeah. Thank you. Like, I'd love to have it. So tell everyone where to find you, where to view your past and recent work, and also the current work that you're doing.
Yeah. Well, bydavidrosen.com is my main website, where you can find basically links to everything I do. All the other albums, I have 7 full-length albums of instrumental music, and then 2 soundtrack releases. And then I've got this new comedy album I was talking about. It's called The Pup Pups, and it's songs about my dogs and cats. It's very ridiculous and very fun. The pre-order starts like next week, so
that's amazing.
I'm very excited about it. I've been working on it for years.
Yeah.
But it never felt right, but it's time to put it out. But
as time goes on and you live with them, like new things will come up, right?
Yeah, you gotta eventually put these things out.
Right?
That's right.
What kind of, how many do you have?
Well, over the years that I've been working on this project, not all of them are still with us. So, that does happen when an album gets delayed. But there are, in total, over the history of the Pup Pups, there are 2 dogs and 5 cats.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right now we have 1 dog and 3 cats. But, they're different phases, different band members, you can say, of the group, But, so the Pup Pups album you'll find out about on my website, bydavidrosen.com. And there's also links to my podcast, Piecing It Together. You can find anywhere that you listen to podcasts.
That's amazing. Are you open to people kind of submitting their independent film to you to ask to be a part of your podcast? Like,
sure.
Hey, review this for me.
Yeah, I don't always have time in the schedule to fully review independent films, but I'm always happy to have independent filmmakers on for my regular episodes if they want to come on and help me cover whatever movie is out right now in the theaters. We will definitely make time to talk about their film as well.
I see. That's awesome. So you also have guests on your podcast.
Every episode I have a guest. Yeah.
Instead of you sitting there being like, so what I found
Yeah.
during research. A lot of people do that. Hey,
I could talk,
creation's a
but,
thing.
yeah.
You know, that's absolutely amazing. So there is one more question that I always ask my guests because it kind of sums up them as a whole. Is there a philosophy that you live by?
Is there a philosophy that I live by? I mean, yeah, it kind of goes back to a lot of what we've been talking about during this conversation, and that's to keep making stuff. Like, that's really it. And, like, I joke about, like, we're in this era of more content and, like, there's too much stuff, but not too much of your stuff. Like, you should keep making stuff, you know? And that's the only way that you eventually get to where you want to be, you know?
You grow. Well, is there a goal that you're trying to reach at the end of all of this, or do you feel like you've hit that goal already?
I mean, in some ways I do, but I definitely have no plans of stopping anytime soon. I want to keep, you know, going towards that full discography of like a career's worth of music. I also want to score bigger films. I want to do a big monster movie at some point. That would be awesome. That definitely would fit my style. And with piecing it together, like I said, we've got these 3 live recordings at Maya Cinemas this summer. And I want that to continue to be a thing. I want to do more live shows in front of crowds. And so,
That's amazing. I don't know. So you play instruments as well, or no? You would just kind of, you do your mixing. You do your whole thing.
Yeah, I mean, I play instruments, but no one wants to see me play in front of a crowd.
You're not a performer.
No.
He does it to the cat, to the pup-pup.
Yes, that's right. Yes.
That's amazing. David Rosen, you are absolutely talented. I'm so glad to have a composer, producer on here. I think that realm of music and being able to create it from nothing and just your own is just so inspiring. You know, there's a lot of music artists out there that do that, but there's a lot that don't, and those that do, they're kind of a genius in their own way. Like, I can't even imagine, like, out of nowhere, and then you have this amazing thing just there, right? The sound, you know, which is so important, that inspires so many people. Like, music really is something that I think stays and helps a person transcend who they are as people. And I'm sure you're inspiring many of our viewers here who are also artists. Even if they're performers, I'm sure that's something they might delve into. Even dancers might choreograph to one of your pieces. Your pieces are definitely, you know, being in dance prior and training in theater. I can hear yours being part of a dance concert.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Like, it's definitely, there's a lot to it, and movement, I think, adds to yours very well. So anyone out there who's looking to have a composer for their shows here in Vegas, we got tons. We're not short of them. Please contact David Rosen. Absolutely fantastic. Great energy. Just great artist all around. What you want right here. Humble, obviously. Like, you're sitting here, you're like, yeah, you send this. I have how many albums out? It's no big deal, right? Like,
I just got goosebumps, guys.
Well, great. Thank you so much, David, for coming and sitting on the hot seat. You're absolutely amazing. It's a pleasure to meet you. Everyone stay tuned because we are not done in the realm of music here in Las Vegas, live in studio. See you after the break.
I can already feel you judging me. And not for what I've done in the past, but for what I'm about to do. I had what mattered, and I got careless. Like, I don't deserve more. I don't deserve sympathy. I don't deserve to be here.
Where the hell are you? Why aren't you answering your phone?
Geno! What is the matter with you?
Someone once told me, you may not be everybody's cup of tea, but you're somebody's shot of whiskey.
Excuse me, ma'am. My car ran out of gas and I left my wallet at home. Could you please spare a couple dollars so I can refuel my vehicle?
I literally have nothing.
What's it gonna take to get you to join the program?
Get about the dog! If Jesus wanted you to have a dog, he would have blessed you with a bowl and a leash now, wouldn't he?
I can already feel you judging me, and not for what I've done in the past.
Shopping for a new home is an exciting time, and the mortgage process just got easier. New American Funding's all-digital mortgage application takes all the hassle out of applying for a mortgage. Simply put in your information and we do the rest. Safely and securely verify your income, assets, and tax information electronically. Plus, you get access to track the progress of your application anytime, anywhere.
Hi guys, and welcome back. This is The Hot Seat. I am your host, Priscilla Moy, and as always, I'm glad you're probably having an amazing time sitting there with your drinks and with your snacks. It's so amazing having creatives like David sitting here and telling us kind of his own process and what makes him an artist. And that's what I love when I'm here and doing this job, is to introduce people like that to you. So when I told you that the music area of today is not over, I was right about that. We're kind of switching gears over to something else. I think a lot of people who are here in Vegas may be familiar with this type of person, right? We have a DJ in the house. I'm so excited because I've always wanted one to be here. He has gotten awards. He is known as one of the top 3 event DJs in the city, and he has traveled the world to do what he loves best, which is to make people like you happy when you're partying, I guess. Like I said, music brings people together and it transcends all odds. So everyone, please introduce DJ Eric Snow. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Love
Hi,
the
how are you?
outfit.
Thank
Love
you.
the outfit. Rep in Vegas.
Thank you.
Please
Thank you.
take a seat.
Actually, I brought you something.
Oh dear.
If you don't mind.
Plants.
No,
yes.
these are ferns. There's a very famous podcast that uses ferns. And I thought this might, take it to the next level.
Yes,
a little color.
I love
some beautiful fern
foliage.
energy to
Yes.
relax us. So.
Yes. I
Okay.
love plants. I'm not good with them, but I love them. So as long as I don't
Alright.
touch them, they won't die.
Here we are.
So amazing. So you have been all around the world doing what you do. Born in LA, a lot of Pacific Northwest, doing all that stuff and traveled the world. So tell us, what is the journey? What was the journey?
Wow. What brought me to Vegas, or what started me
Let's
DJing,
do
or
the
what do
start
you want to
with
know?
The music.
The music.
You lived in LA, you're Pacific Northwest.
When I was
what was the thing that...
When I was a little kid, a friend of mine, we used to have little cassette players, and we would make little radio shows on cassette.
Okay,
And we had a microphone, and we'd trap the songs, and then DJs would talk, and we'd cut the DJ out, and we'd hit record, and we'd capture our favorite songs, kind of like bootlegging them, and we'd make little radio shows. So I decided I wanted to be a DJ, so I that's all I've done, really, except for a 4-year nightclub stint running nightclubs.
Okay.
So that's all I've ever done for 28 years, something like that, roughly.
That's amazing.
Been DJing.
You've been doing it.
Full time.
It worked out for you. It's
yeah.
amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So is there a certain sound that really just drew you into, let me share this with the world? This is what gets me going.
I have a love of all music. And I was in the Virgin Islands for 17 years. So I learned soca, reggae, Latin, bachata, all that stuff. I embraced it. And now when I do private parties, they get people here in Vegas from all over the world, people from China, people from Israel, just all over, and they have their music. So I try and learn that. And every time I get a different culture that comes, I get excited because I get to delve into that type of music. So with the EDM field that I play with a little bit, I've done like some reggae EDM, some soca EDM, a lot of mashups, that kind of thing. But I play a wide variety of stuff.
Yeah, I saw that, and you have a huge repertoire and huge resume of things that you've done, and I'm glad that you acclimate. You kind of go around, who are the clients and what can I learn? You're open.
Right.
A lot of people aren't open, right? They
I
got
don't
their
have
thing.
a playlist,
They
ever.
stick to it. It's mostly EDM, right? Or hip-hop,
Well,
R&B,
I mean, it
at least
depends
in
on the
Vegas.
event. In Vegas,
Right.
yeah, there's retro, there's all kinds of
Yeah.
things you do, there's Latin parties.
Yeah,
It's,
but not all DJs would be willing
Right.
to do those
Yeah.
things, and it's amazing. So when you were in the islands, you actually were awarded, right? One of the best DJs.
top
there.
DJs
What
in
is
Virgin
that
Islands,
like?
yes. Yeah.
That's pretty amazing.
Yeah, well, I'll be honest, when I first got there, I came from Seattle. I was born in California, went to Seattle, DJ there in Seattle for a while, and then I went to the VI. And the reggae in Washington is nothing like the reggae in the Caribbean. So it was really tough. I had to really struggle and study and learn. I'd go to record shops that are local record dealers, and I'd learn about what was hot, where to find the charts for soca, and I learned it. So I really embraced it, and it really gave me a rich knowledge of that culture's music, which is a great, I mean, who doesn't love reggae? Come on.
Exactly.
I mean, it's cool stuff.
Yeah, and so I understand how when you're entering a different world of a different type of music that you might not be privy to, you learn a lot about culture as well.
Yes.
And sometimes you get pulled in. Like,
Right.
for example, I know there's a club around town, you probably heard of it, Oddfellows. And they're kind of a club where it kind of reminds me of you in a way where they're different, like, every day. They ask for a different crowd, whether it be emo, Latin,
Right.
K-pop, which is my favorite, urban, things like that, 90s. And so imagining what it's like as a DJ to be able to switch gears like that. And not just with the music, but the crowd,
Right.
right? So how does a crowd kind of inspire you to kind of maybe change up your set a little bit, or does it get you going? Do you balance it off of the type of people?
It's like someone will call me and say, like last night I was at the Venetian, I had a corporate group. Where are you guys from? I'm back east. And I look at their age and where they're from, and I kind of think, okay, they're into this, or maybe they're not. Maybe they're more into the mainstream, maybe they're, more eclectic, maybe they're older, they want to go back 10, 20, 30 years, who knows.
Yeah.
So you do your homework, and I kind of do it like I'm cooking, like prepping. So at home I'll go, okay, I'll take these 70 songs, and I'll set them out, but I won't do the order yet, and I might add and fill. And then when I get there, that's when I start cooking.
Okay.
So that's how I DJ. Or someone goes, hey, we're having an EDM festival in the Virgin Islands or whatever. I would take all that music of that genre that would be bangers and stuff that would really, really hit the crowd, and then I'd put it together there and say, okay, I might open with this, I might close with this, and I'll fill in the middle as I go. So I don't have a set. I tell all my clients, I say, it's all tailored to your event, because every event is different and every group is different.
Yeah, and the vibes you feel.
Yeah.
once
So
the
reading a
party
room is
starts.
like, to me, the
Yeah.
number one skill you have to have as a DJ. If you can't read a room, you have to learn
Yeah.
how to do that.
So what sets you apart from the world of DJs? Because Vegas has got a ton of them, right?
I think diversity.
Okay.
One day I'm doing an EDM party for people in their 20s. Next day I'm doing an Indian wedding. It's just, and I like that diversity. Some DJs hate weddings. I kind of like them, actually. I'm not really a wedding DJ, but to switch it up once in a while, I'll take one. I'll do a few a year, that kind of thing. And they're fun. Everyone's having a good time. And, I always say no one really gets mad at their DJ. I've heard of brides getting mad at their DJs, but I think if they get mad at you're not doing it right. You got to pay attention.
Yeah.
So I think the diversity is what's really set me apart and kept me from getting burned out. Because if I was in the same club playing the same music every night, I'd be burned out. I couldn't do it for this long.
Yeah,
I'd go nuts.
especially in a world where here, people come to Vegas, they expect a certain type of vibe every time. No matter what the crowd is, when you go to the big clubs
Right.
and they don't have a celebrity DJ or they have an opener, right? They're going to have kind of the same vibe. And
Right.
if it's not in a niche, they're like, oh, this is not it, right? We
Right.
want that such big artists, the hip hop, the R&B. So when you came from Vegas, from the islands, right, obviously that was kind of fate pushing you here because it was kind of more not a good reason why.
Well, I went through a
lot of
hurricane.
that-
You can
Exactly,
talk-
that's
you
what
can
I don't
talk
want
about
to
it.
say.
It's all right.
Like,
No,
I
and-
mean, it's like
and
more of
that-
a disaster.
I gotta tell you, I don't want to get all
right?
like touchy-feely, but, and this is for anyone watching the show, you ever go through any kind of adversity, there's a reason for it. Not that you're being punished by the universe. It's trying to put you in the right direction. Like, so you lose your boyfriend, your girlfriend, whatever. There's a reason why life is steering you another way, and you got to take advantage of that steer. And if you can do that, then there's no consequences to any disaster in your life.
Yeah.
So.
A lot of people are.
Yeah, and I think I love the islands. I'm going back in August to do some stuff. And my first year I came back, went back like 9 times.
Yeah.
Which was tricky because I wasn't living there and I'd already settled my pricing. So now I had to eat all the flights and all the going back after the hurricane. I was living on the Strip and it was just this big grind. And it took me about 2 or 3 years to build it back here because no one really knew who I was here until I got here.
Yeah. Yeah, so how do you feel? I mean, Vegas obviously has changed since you got here. It's changing every day. So no matter if you moved here 3 months ago, it's changed.
Right.
How did you kind of acclimate to that? I mean, you know, it's a known party area, right? In your brain, you're like, this is going to either go really well or it's going to be a culture shock.
I never thought I wouldn't. I never thought I wouldn't succeed here because I'd been here before, and it's weird because when I was living in the islands, I was flying out here to do gigs, one shots. Like someone's having a party at Mandalay Bay and they want like a disco party for their dad turning 80 or something, or it's a big rager and there's 500 people and they're flying me out because I did a party for them there. And so I would start going back and forth. So now I'm doing it in reverse. Now I'm living here and flying out to the islands on occasion. But I love it here. I love the islands, but I also love the conveniences of Vegas.
Yeah.
The food, the diversity, the nightlife, the scenes, the shows, the concerts. It's amazing. You don't get all that in the island.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you like if you really love it, and for someone who loves diversity, I feel like Vegas would be a great place.
Right.
There's gonna be new people in every street. Yep. Every day is a different day here.
Absolutely.
They're welcoming and all those things. Is DJing a very competitive field? I know nothing about that.
I think getting started in a new area is tricky for some people, but if you do a good job and you show up on time and do a good job, I think people start referring you. You don't even have to advertise, really. They just say, call this guy. He did my event, and it went really well, and then they just call you.
Well, that's great.
So is it competitive? I mean, yeah, but you have to, it's like any other job. You have to kind of stand out from the crowd.
Yeah. Do you produce as well?
I do, although I haven't had that much time lately. I've been dying. I have about 10 projects in the hopper that I have not been able to finish, and all this gear sitting around, they're getting dusty, and I'm like, I need to make some stuff. I do a lot of remixes and stuff,
Yeah, I was gonna
but
say,
composing is the hardest because you're going from scratch.
Exactly.
You can't rip anybody off. You got to be original, and you want to do something different. You just want to do the same old recycled stuff. So that's what takes time, and then, when I'm going 4 or 5, 6 times a week sometimes. So you're exhausted. You need that one day to just go,
Silence.
just you don't want to deal with music, although I love it all the time, but you just don't want to sit in the studio. So during the slow times, which are coming up after we get through the spring and all that and summer, it'll start dropping down a little bit, and I'll have some more time to do that, but that's definitely on my list.
Because I always imagine a lot of DJs are also DJ producers.
Absolutely.
Right? Because when you're also, playing a set, I don't even want to say you have a set, but when you're doing a job, you have a client, whether it's big or small, you're there trying to blend in what would go great that makes sense after the fade out of the song, right? Like you have to know music in that way. You can't just be like, all right, stop next, stop next, right? So
you don't want to burn your crowd out on the same stuff, same beats. You want to refresh it. You want to like switch it up a little bit, but yet stay with the genre they're digging. There's a lot going on. I mean, you really have to concentrate, and it's exhausting. After, I'd say 4 or 5 hours when you're doing a long party. 3 is great. Like I love 3 hours is perfect. You want to slam it all the way through, but when you're doing 5, to keep people at that level, because they get tired, and you want to keep them going. Whether it's drink sales at a bar, making the place money, which keeps you working, or it's an event where you want everyone to just have a screaming good time, and they're just the whole time they're out on the dance floor having a blast. Because no one wants to go to a party where everyone's just standing around. You want dancing. That's what everyone wants in a DJ. I want dancing. It's the first thing they tell you.
Yeah.
So you really have to have your game on to squeeze that time out of those people when you go over 4 hours, because they're pretty whipped by that time. If you're dancing them hard, they're exhausted.
Yeah. If you were to go to a party, you weren't the DJ, you're off the clock. Is there something that you look for in a good DJ?
I'd say connection, like connecting with the crowd. I think a lot of DJs play for themselves, and they shouldn't, And yeah, there's songs that I'm not really keen on that are popular, but if you remix them to where you enjoy them, they're definitely going to enjoy them. So, sorry, I lost my train of thought. Let's go on a tangent, sorry. It's been a long day. I just got off a big wig. It's my first day off in a while. What were we saying? What was the question? I'm sorry.
What you look for in a good DJ?
Oh, continuity and connection with the crowd. Because you don't have that connection, it doesn't work, and these guys are just isolated. They're looking down their laptop, which we all have to do that a little bit to manipulate things. But having that connection with the crowd and having them, you're feeling what they're going through and they're feeling what you're going through is super important. So I look for that. I see a guy connecting with a crowd, and I go, awesome.
Yeah,
So.
sometimes you see a lot of connecting and physical connecting. They're
Yeah.
doing a lot of stuff. They're talking.
Right.
They recognize them. They're like,
Right.
things like that. It's a lot of interaction.
Right.
Are there any DJ producers, young and old, that really inspire you? That you're kind of like, all right, yeah, he's doing it good.
The big ones. I mean, there's a lot of these guys are, millionaires and producers that work all the time for a reason. Armin van Buuren, one of my favorites, one of my heroes. Love him. He's fantastic. And there's just so many good bands, and there's just so many things to draw off of, especially in this town. I mean, I look at everybody's performance, and when I first got here, off the hurricane, I was, struggling because I went through a hurricane, lost most of my stuff. So I was working my, my tail off trying to get things going. And, when you're new in a place, don't know where to go. And I had friends taking me to shows all the time, and I was watching everybody. I was watching magicians. I was watching, every guy's from, Matt King to David Copperfield. These aren't even DJs, but I was watching performers in general, you know, and watching what they do and how they did. And I got to meet them and know them, befriend them, you know, guys like Tape Face and these different people, and they just inspire you and they show you how they connect and what works for them. And even though it's not DJing, there's lessons to be learned from every performer you see.
Yeah, I love that. You take from every experience you have, even
Absolutely.
if it's not something you do. If anything, you probably would like meeting people who don't do what you do, because it kind of, I would never think that, you know what I mean? You just learn more, and it kind of broadens your horizon of what they see when they go on a stage, or when they talk to people, or what they look for in an audience, right?
Yeah.
Because, you know, I'm thinking of the big ones like Steve Aoki, you got Martin Garrix, you got Calvin Harris, you got Chainsmokers, all the ones that are very popular. You got DJ Pauly D, right?
Yep.
They're all something different, but they're all interesting because, but the main thing when I see all of these guys, you know, how old or young they are, they love to party. Is that something that you find prevalent in DJs in general?
I mean, in club
no?
culture it is. I mean, I'm not trying to be grim, but look at Avicii.
Yeah.
That's what killed him.
Yeah.
He partied too hard. I mean, but yeah, you love to party in your own way. I mean, for me, what I love is getting that crowd all hyped up and high. They're all just, you know, you're connecting, they're having fun, people are meeting, people are, you know, making new girlfriends, and, you know, people are hooking up. I mean, you feel good about it. And I think that's why I like EDM too a lot, because it's very positive music. It's very upbeat. You know, it's very, it's not really sad music. Well, there's a place for that too, you know, but yeah.
Was there a certain job in your career that you were like, this is it, I made it, in your mind? Was there a time when you felt so inspired by yourself that you always hold close to your heart? I know I asked David the same question.
There was a time I was going through a bad breakup with a fiance, and I was at a beach bar in a place called St. John. It's a little island. Anyone from St. John watching this will know what I'm talking about. This little bar was called Castaways, and we used to do like raves during Carnival, because they had Juve. I don't know if you're familiar with this or not. It's a thing where the Islanders follow a band through the streets, and the longer the crowd, that's the winner of Juve. They get up at like 3 o'clock in the morning, and everyone just walks around in the heat until like 1 or 2 in the afternoon, like all day, stay up all night partying, and then Carnival starts. So Juve would be the next day, and no one had anything to do before Juve, so we had this big rager on St. John, and we threw some of the first EDM parties that were ever thrown on Virgin Islands were at that bar. So I was having this hard time because I just lost this person, and I just threw myself into my music, and it like healed me. Like it just, all that angst just came out in my music, and everyone was partying. So it became like this positive burst of energy, and it really just like came out through the music, and that's where I really realized the power of what you do. You know, it's just so much more than just playing songs or whatever. It's moving people along on a journey with you. I know that sounds kind of goofy, but I don't know if you understand or not. But it's just kind of and shared experiences. I just went to Burning Man this last year. Got to do a little set at a camp.
Oh, okay.
That was fun. That was a very life-changing experience. Very cool. Very different.
A lot of people go there and they all have life-changing experiences at Burning Man.
Yeah.
It's a type of thing.
It's very organic.
Yeah.
It very much leads you down the path of where you want to go. So whatever you're into, that's the rabbit hole that you'll follow. That's the way you're going to go.
Yeah.
I can't explain it other than that. It's just very, very neat.
Yeah, you have to experience it. But that's what's the power of music really does in bringing people together.
Right.
You can have those moments when you're just like kind of have epiphanies. And that's why I think people love going to festivals. They love going to a club. It's not just a party, but they go with a whole group of friends. All of a sudden, all their worries, all their cares just kind of go away.
Yeah.
Right? And then they just leave with a great time. And that's kind of what everyone wants. They want something that makes them distracted in a good way. You're bringing something great out, both for you and for the audience, which is fantastic. Now, the question that I always ask all of my guests is there a philosophy that you live by? Could you answer that?
Yeah, there is actually. There's nothing you can't do in this life if you try hard enough. I don't care what it is. There's a way to somehow do it. I firmly believe in that, 100%.
If you want it enough.
If you want it enough, you want to pay the price at the end of the line, yep.
I love that.
Yeah.
Is there a goal that you're trying to reach outside of now, or do you feel that you're doing everything you want to do?
Pretty happy. I mean, things are going pretty well. Just always goals, just different things. You know, one of the things that makes me happy is bringing people together. You know, like this community is so close knit. I've never seen a place where more people helped other people. Like it's unbelievable. Like I've lived in Washington, Oregon, California, the Virgin Islands, here, and I've just never seen the like of it. Like when I came here, every entertainer embraced me, helped me. I mean, I owe so many people, like, and they didn't have to. They don't need to, you know, and they did. And it's just, and I see it every day. And so I try and give back, you know. And it doesn't matter what you do. It doesn't matter if you're a Cirque du Soleil performer, a magician, a singer, a DJ, a band. They all come together and they all learn from each other, because show is show. You know, whether you're a DJ or a magician or a hypnotist or whatever you do, it's a show. Exactly. And it involves the people. Yes. And so I that's the one thing that Vegas gave me. I can't even put into words. It's just incredible how the people are here. They're very different. So helpful. Like in LA, I hear it's very competitive and ruthless, and people are, you know, messing with each other. Here, it's just like, what do you need, man? Oh, I know that guy. I'll introduce you to that guy. It's just, wow. Once you're in that once you find out where all those people are, it's incredible. You know, it's really incredible.
If you find that and keep that, because it's not easy to find those types of people.
Yeah,
sometimes you got to go through a lot of bad apples to find those types of
people have bad Vegas experiences. I really believe it's the people around you that make your Vegas good or make your Vegas bad.
Yeah, and it's what you do about it. It's whether you let that affect you or you keep on pushing.
100%.
Right, I know I've gone through that. Yeah, I come from a theater background, so I understand when it comes to the audience. The minute you hit the stage, you feel the vibe. You're like, oh, all right, here, this is what we're going to do tonight. Right. Okay, like
sometimes it's rough, sometimes it's a joy, and it's easy. You just never know, but it must go on. Yep,
it must go on. So tell everyone where they can contact you. I know you do a lot of celebrities, so you might be a little hard to reach because you might be up here.
You go on my website, djericsnow.com. That's where you'll find me. @official DJ Snow on Facebook is me. That's my fan page. Love, just say hi.
Fan page. It's a fan page.
Got both those, so no.
But
those are the easiest ways. So.
Yeah, that's amazing though. We love to hear. We love having you on here.
Thank
I really
you.
hope I get to be invited to one of your events.
Yes, absolutely.
I spent a lot of time at Oddfellows. Everyone of my viewers know this. K-pop night, that's my night. But you know, it's a great time. It's a great place. Vegas people are amazing. They acclimate very well, and I'm sure that celebrity party or not celebrity party, you're taking in all of it. And it's a learning experience. Yeah. It's the best thing Vegas can give you. 100%. So everyone, DJ Eric Snow here in the hot seat playing music that y'all party to. It's a hard job. I respect that. That's not for me. I don't know. The parties, everyone ever asks you, like, you guys sitting around, who wants to be the DJ? Just play something. And you're like, oh, you don't want to. Like, you have to do it where everyone's happy, right? And if you're even a small friend group, if people are going to be judging, they're going to be like, yo. Yeah. Cut him off, right? So it's a hard job. Much respect to you, DJ Eric Snow. Applaud, everyone. Find him on all his fan pages, his websites, everything. You'll probably see him at the next event near you. He's all around the world, so hey, Paulie, you got nothing on you, bro. Oh, anyway, DJ Eric Snow, so make sure you don't go anywhere because you know I'm never done talking on this channel. So I will see you after the break.
Shopping for a new home is an exciting time, and the mortgage process just got easier. New American Funding's all-digital mortgage application takes all the hassle out of applying for a mortgage. Simply put in your information and we do the rest. Safely and securely verify your income, assets, and tax information electronically. Plus, you get access to track the progress of your application anytime, anywhere. Less questions, less paperwork, less hassle, and instant access. Ready to start shopping for your new home? Let's get started. Shopping for a new home is an exciting time, and the mortgage process just got easier. New American Funding's all-digital mortgage application takes all the hassle out of applying for a mortgage. Simply put in your information and we do the rest. Safely and securely verify your income, assets, and tax information electronically. Plus, you get access to track the progress of your application anytime, anywhere. Less questions, less paperwork, less hassle, and instant access. Ready to start shopping for your new home? Let's get started. Shopping for a new home is an exciting time, and the mortgage process just got easier. New American Funding's all-digital mortgage application takes all the hassle out of applying for a mortgage. Simply put in your information and we do the rest. Safely and securely verify your income, assets, and tax information electronically. Plus, you get access to track the progress of your application anytime, anywhere. Less questions, less paperwork, less hassle, and instant access. Ready to start shopping for your new home? Let's get started. Shopping for a new home is an exciting time, and the mortgage process just got easier. New American Funding's all-digital mortgage application takes all the hassle out of applying for a mortgage. Simply put in your information and we do the rest. Safely and securely verify your income, assets, and tax information electronically. Plus, you get access to track the progress of your application anytime, anywhere. Less questions, less paperwork, less hassle, and instant access. Ready to start shopping for your new home? Let's get started.
What show was that? That was absolutely amazing. Great conversation. Very humble people. I know I say every week that I have a theme every episode, and this one obviously was music, but then also the humbleness of people who create music and create music for viewers and listeners like you to have a great time and to really just make life better. Because if you think about it, can you imagine life without music? Like, even though it'd be silence, but like everywhere you go, even the elevator, the awkwardness, it's helping you out a little bit over there, right? But every week, we are so open to lots and lots and lots of submissions. If you want to be here, sitting in the hot seat, just like David and Eric, it is open for you. Make sure to email your bio, who you are, what you do, a picture of you, so we know who are you. Let's put a face to your story. Email that to admin@socialmediashows.com. Submissions are open all the time, every day. You can send that email at any hour, and I'm sure production will get back to you. We are also open to sponsorships. That same email address, I tell you guys every week, that email address is golden. You need to save it, remember it, engrave it somewhere, because that email is going to take you places. Whether you want to be on a show, not just mine, there's many shows on this network that if that fits you, if you know the people on that show and you want to be on that show, I am not offended, even though I know that I'm your favorite, but still. But if you want to be a sponsor for any of these shows, if you have a movie coming out, if you're someone that wants to have an advertisement, please contact production at that email, admin@socialmediashows.com. That will be the email for you. As you know, my name is Priscilla Moy. I am always here talking to viewers like you, connecting with viewers like you, and really just being here introducing you to some amazing talent in the city and beyond the city. Sometimes we have a lot of people coming in town that are in Vegas, because who doesn't come to Vegas, and they would love to sit here and tell us who they are, what they do, and why. The biggest thing that I take away from this is not only do I inspire viewers like you, but I'm also inspired by the people who are sitting here. I don't have to do the same thing as them in order to feel connected, to find a connection with these people, because I feel like every human wants to be seen. That's the biggest thing that a lot of people don't understand, is humans want to be seen. They want people to understand them. And so if I can give that back to all of my guests, to all of my viewers, then I have done my job as a television host. So, as always, my name is Priscilla Moy, and you are watching The Hot Seat live in studio at Social Media Shows. Live in real time, the only ones that do it. I know Maria is very, 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 very adamant about making sure you guys know that we are the only network that goes live in real time. No editing, no post-editing, there's none of that. What you see is what you get, so nothing's fabricated, nothing's pre-planned. A lot of my guests I do not meet ahead of time. So it's the enjoyment, right? It's entertainment. We're creating, we're new, we're brand new, we're doing all of these things. So, with that being said, I hope to see you on the next episode of The Hot Seat. I am your host, Priscilla Moy, and I will see you then. Bye.